Welcome back to my channel. Find a spot wherever it is you'd like to sit. There's plenty of room on the rainbow couch. It's a big, floofy, cloudy, like climb into wonderful place to sit. And that's what I want for everybody, to just feel comfortable, come in, sit down, and just get along. I think that'd be a great thing if we could all just do that. But anyway, I heard a news story a couple of days ago, and it was quite disturbing. I was not expecting quite the story that I heard. It was more than I was prepared for. In fact, I've never really heard of anything as horrific as this. Um, and I lived in West Texas. I was down in Mexico, around about the times when they were having those cult killings. So, where they were like burying the bodies and they were like pulling them up by their spines so they could use it in rituals later. It was pretty graphic. But no, this is a little different. It happened in Florida. And I'm not quite sure what the association is with Florida, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on down there that I just don't want any part of. It's kind of like opening a can of crazy. This story, actually. Um, this kid, I'm basically staying vague because I don't want to get flagged or in trouble, and I'm pretty sure if you guys wanted to, you could just go look it up and you can find out a lot more information. But there was this kid who apparently grew up. He was nice, decent sort of fella, and he decided, he wanted to go off to college, so that's fine. His parents helped him get there, and you know, uh, for the first, few months, it seemed like he was doing great. He had a girlfriend, he had friends, and he was, staying with programs and, working on his sports, etc. And that was all his parents wanted for him was success, of course. But on the first visit home, he made an announcement that went basically along the lines that there were supernatural forces in his house that were trying to harm the family. And so he moved all of his belongings into the garage or the garage. And then he proceeded to stand guard and do pacing every couple of hours, announcing loudly that he was protecting them from these demons or, creatures. And his parents were in the house, obviously. They heard this, and then rather than like going and looking for a phone and attempting to contact someone who might have more knowledge about this, um, they just decided to like lock their doors and don't say anything. And maybe the big bad son that we don't recognize right now will go away. I mean, is that the logic? I don't know. But it was a bit, really, that's all you did? Okay. It made no sense to me, but whatever. And it progressed. And basically, his mental state was being questioned more and more um, until basically it was pretty recent, I think. Uh, but she, yeah, it, his mother was not a part of the main family. They had divorced, and he was living with his father, but he would still go see his mother. And she came into the kitchen, and he was drinking cooking oil and claiming that he was a god. Now this is all pretty unusual, you'd have to admit, obviously. But, his mother basically didn't seem fazed by it. She called the family, said he's acting a bit weird, and left the message and left it at that. Okay, fair enough. Well, he goes back. I believe he was having dinner with his father. He goes back, sits down, and then proceeds to, I believe, eat some dinner with them before leaving again. And they don't know where he's gone this time. But this time, eventually they found him, and he was, well, he'd already antagonized and attacked the female partner of this couple that we're about to talk about, and she later died. The neighbor who really liked that couple, he came across the street to try to, do what he could, and he almost died. He had, like, I believe 5 or 6 stab wounds to the neck, maybe. Uh, but he got away, but only barely managed to live. And when he was trying to take that guy off of this woman he knew, the guy looked at him and said, "You don't want a part of this." You know, like, okay. So yeah, anyway, he got back to his house. They called the police, and when the police arrived, they didn't really know what they were getting into. There's a couple of them. A female officer went around one way, and then there was another one that went around the other way. And they didn't even know what they were looking at first, because it's not every day you witness cannibalism. I would imagine. It's definitely not something you'd want to partake in regularly. Like, oh yeah, cannibalism sounds like a fun endeavor. Yeah, we could go find something diverting. How about cannibalism? No, just no. But apparently, the guy had his mouth in the guy's face and was ripping off pieces and consuming them. I'm trying not to be too gross. Well, the cop tasered him multiple times and the kid didn't react. The cop used a dog on this kid, and basically every time the dog would get a hold of his arm, the kid would take his arm and just rip it back, regardless of whatever damage it was doing to his arm, right? Yeah, don't know. But eventually, what they had to do was the cop kicked the kid in the face just long enough for the kid to go backwards with his arm hanging back, for the other cop to grab his wrist to handcuff him. And believe it or not, even after they had him caught, he was still trying to reach the guy to keep eating him. Yeah. Okay. So this story is definitely extreme. It's definitely memorable, and it's definitely horrible. But it's not unprecedented, though. Um, and this is what bothers me about mental health, honestly, because his family knew that he had problems, had known he had mental health problems for a very long time, and they didn't do anything. Not long term, not anything that would um, be sufficient, be good enough to save those 2 people's lives who died needlessly because this kid was acting a bit awry. Um, oh, and they found out later that the kid had just taken one of the bottles of something in the garage and just drank some. And then he started talking to this female cop, and he was perfectly lucid for a few minutes. And, it was a very unusual thing. But, man, we need more focus on mental health. We definitely do, because there is far too much of it outside right now that isn't being looked after, that isn't being acknowledged, for whatever, like stigma or, I'm done caring about whether or not there's a stigma attached to mental health in this year. You cannot help it. But what you can do with your mental health problems is you can acknowledge that you have one. Okay? Acknowledge that you have one. 2, go seek someone to discuss this problem with who is that can handle this, who is a more expert in that field to guide you, okay? Don't take everything they say as dogma, question everything, of course, but go get some help. And they'll probably prescribe you some antipsychotics of some sort, or personality mood stabilizers and things like that. And of course, the third thing you really have to do in order to help yourself and help with mental health, and for our society to help with it, is really to remove the stigma, understand it's just a part of who we are. And if somebody needs help and they seek that help out, and they have to take some sort of medication, then you should not allow any sort of environment where there's some ridicule attached to the mental health help that you sought, and now you've obtained it, and now it's become even more difficult to follow through because, well, you're being berated and insulted and belittled because you have mental health problems. I have seen this scenario happen far more than I'd like. Can you imagine if that kid, the one I was talking about in Florida, if he had somebody to talk to about this? I mean, can you imagine? I try not to get too upset. I try not to be too serious. But when it comes to mental health and mental health help, it's critically important, because when you have those problems, they're either inherited, or it's something that it becomes aggravated, exacerbated by, and more pronounced because of some experience that you've had, some trauma in your life. And sometimes it can just manifest and it's beyond your control. And we need to live in a world where it's okay to have those days when you can't do it, but you could if you had some help. That's the thing they forget. It's like there are a lot of people out there that are suffering from mental health problems, but they're too embarrassed, too proud even, to go seek the help. I wish I could talk to them and just tell them there is nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. Having a mental health problem, it just means that you're aware that there's a problem there. You're going to look for help. You take something to make you a better person, better able to manage your problems. It saved my relationship, because for the longest time I was misdiagnosed as bipolar. So, it's a very important subject to me. I will bring it up from time to time. But when I see cases like that over in Florida, and I think about what it's like over here, and yes, there is a waiting list for the mental health help. I understand that. But there is mental health help. It's there, and it doesn't work the way ours does. So if he had the help he needed, those two people would not have had to die like that. And I am going to say this, if more people were able to be in that position to help and to be patient and to understand that some of us have shortcomings, doesn't make us a bad person. It just means that we have more things to overcome. But if you give us a minute or two, we'll climb over that too, and we'll be right there with you. It just takes patience and time. I really hope this helps someone, because I have struggled with mental health my whole life, and I'm not ashamed. And I know that life can be very difficult sometimes, and it's not an easy road, as it were. But it's even harder when you don't have a safety net. You don't have any help there. And this all leads back to the NHS again. It's wonderful. Where else, I mean, do you get this kind of thing? The NHS is funded by public taxpayer money. I get that. So you cannot say it's free, because it's not free. People are paying for it. I know that. And I'm going to try to get that across to people. But I don't know. I just think that, like, there's so many things that are broken. If they could just be kind of like rerouted and lined up together, this world could be improved. Like, I'm excited that there is going to be available a network of sorts outside of Earth that will allow for everybody to have access to the internet. That's exciting. I'm really, really chuffed about that. I am. I want people to be able to have the knowledge and the information there. It's a really good thing, and I'm proud and I'm happy about that. But no, mental health is tricky. It's a very tricky thing. It's hard to control it sometimes. I hope you don't mind how I'm like doing the photography. I don't have a stand. Probably should get one. Will eventually. But I just wanted you to see, like, I put this up, and that's my thing. Apparently I'm supposed to read it in that format, and I just cannot for the life of me read what was written on there. It's like, huh? So yeah. Anyway, I just really wanted to take the time to say thank you for everything that you guys do, and just subscribe, and just you try to perpetuate the good that you want to see in the world. Just do it. Be kind, okay? If you don't like somebody, then that's your problem. It's not their problem. They didn't do anything, usually. Just walk away. Don't have to be mean. And if somebody's in your way and you're impatient, does getting more mad really make anything happen? Probably not. So, breathe, relax. And just do that. And that will really, really help you. Also, just for advice, if you do massage of your face and your skull, it's really nice. Just saying. All right. Well, I should cut this off before it gets way too long. All right. Please subscribe below. Click on everything so that way you can get all of my content. I would really like to extend a personal thank you to all of my subscribers, and just I feel very, very lucky to have all of you. And I couldn't ask for better people, honestly. It's so good to hear from you, Gail, Saul, and I have so many new people now. I'm just chuffed to bits. I really am. I'm so happy. So thank you. Thank you so much. Every time I'm having a bad day, I mean, I can go on YouTube and I look at my numbers and I'm like, oh wow, people like me. So it's cool. All right. Thank you very much. Mwah. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.